Hey everyone, and welcome back to another week of indie game development. Sorry for the missing devlog last week. I took a 5-day vacation and just didn't have much opportunity to film. However, I just got back today and I'm ready to jump back into development. We're kicking things off on Sunday for this week, and I want to start off this devlog by talking about the plan to finish Blink. I've been working on the game for about 6 months at this point, which has involved creating the core gameplay and rewards, the artwork, the sound design, and starting my own business to distribute this game and my future projects. It's been a lot of work. And towards the end, I found myself losing a bit of focus on the end goal of releasing Blink, and instead have just been taking my time making further tweaks to the game. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's time to get serious about finishing this project. So the plan between now and the finish line comes in two main parts. The first is to actually get everything about the game itself wrapped up, and that's what I'll be really focusing on this week. The second is to prepare for releasing the game on the Google Play and Apple App Stores. I need to set up these developer accounts using my business, but as a prerequisite for my Apple Business Developer account, I must have a website. So that's likely what I'll be doing next week. Let's quickly talk about the changes I'll be trying to make this week. This encompasses everything that I want to get into the game before sending it out to testers. First on the list is a snow effect, similar to the rain effect that I have. The snow effect will take the place of rain if you are using the last unlockable environment, which are these cold-looking mountains. Shout out to my friend Kyle, who keeps giving me these cool ideas, but forever increases the scope of this project. Next up, I have to finish up the art for all 16 unlockable characters, and I'm thinking of only showing their silhouettes on the unlock screen to add a bit of mystery in terms of what you'll be unlocking. Let me know what you think about that idea. Finally, I have some small tweaks to gameplay to make the game a tiny bit easier on mobile than it is right now. With all that done, I should be ready to get a beta going. It's about 5 o'clock already on Sunday here, and I've spent so much time in the car already today, so I don't really feel like sitting down at my desk to write a bunch of code. So I think I'm just going to mix myself a refreshing beverage, plop down on the sofa with the iPad, and knock out some of this character art. It's coming up on 6 o'clock now, and just as this awesome storm started to roll in, I've managed to finish up some preliminary versions of all my artwork. And also for each of these pieces of artwork, I've got a nice little overlay that I can use to kind of mask the character before you have it unlocked. So happy with this progress for today. I think I'm going to take the rest of the night off, and tomorrow I can implement all this stuff into the game. Welcome to Tuesday evening after work. Now, I was planning on yesterday being a productive day, but after work yesterday, Kate and I decided to go for a walk and then make dinner, and then we just kind of chilled out and watched some Stranger Things. So no development time yesterday. That said, I think tonight and tomorrow morning I should have quite a bit of time to knock out a bunch of the development tasks I scheduled for this week. I didn't get any development done last night, but I did still make a little bit of progress. If we look down here in my Project Explorer and I go to my Art Characters folder, you see now that I actually have all the artwork for all the new characters that I created over this past weekend. So the job tonight is going to be to get these all integrated into the unlock page here, and maybe if I have time, get their silhouettes working so that the ones you haven't unlocked yet appear with the silhouette. Alright, it's been about a half hour now and I've successfully implemented all of my new artwork into my Unlocks Manager, meaning that we can go into the Unlocks page and select them all as playable characters, assuming you've unlocked them. So let's go check them out. You can see we now have 16 different images for all the playable characters, and the score goes all the way up to 10,000 for the last unlockable one. That's a value we'll definitely have to tweak once I get some play testers and see how far people actually get before they get super burned out, because I want to make this achievable for people who enjoy the game. Anyway, we'll go through and step through all the characters so you can see how they look flying around on the screen. Of course, we start out with our Firefly here, then we have our Ladybug, our Grasshopper, and a Dragonfly. Moving to the next row, we have a Rhinoceros Beetle, then a Bumblebee, a Praying Mantis, and a Monarch Butterfly, which I think turned out super cool. On the next row, we have a Hummingbird Moth, a Junebug, a Wasp, and a Luna Moth. Luna Moth is much further down than it was because I think it's going to be a pretty cool unlockable. I think it's one of the best looking characters I drew here. And finally on the last row we have some kind of quirky stuff. Of course we've got the pigeon, we have an actual hummingbird which I think looks nice just because it has so many colors. And then the last unlockable character is actually artwork from my first attempt at making Blink, and it's really just a much higher res Firefly. There's a lot of detail here, and I think it looks very much like a Firefly, so I thought that would be a cool unlock for people who made it all the way to 10,000 points. I knocked that out pretty quickly, so I think I'll give myself one more task tonight. Right now, these still locked characters look alright, they're grayed out, and you can still see their colors, but I think it would be cool if we just showed the silhouette of the character. That way, you don't necessarily know exactly what you're going to unlock, and it could be a nice surprise when you see how colorful some of these are once you finally reach whatever point threshold they have. So I'm going to see if I can get the silhouettes covering up these locked characters. So we've got our silhouettes implemented. That was a little bit tougher than I thought just because I had to make some changes to the in-game screen, which I'll describe in a second. Of course, if we head to the unlock section here, you can now see that any characters that are still locked have their silhouettes rather than a full color version. I think this looks really cool. You still have an idea of what you're going to unlock, and you can even kind of guess what the characters are, but you have no idea what they're going to look like exactly. So I think that's pretty cool, and hopefully might give a little more curiosity to the player when they're getting close to unlocking these characters. Now, if we go ahead and lose around and head to the in-game scene real quick, you'll see that the character now that you haven't unlocked and that you're working towards is blacked out. Of course, we don't want to give away what it's going to look like there. What this means is that when the bar fills up all the way, the first time you'll see the full color character is here on the in-game screen, which I think is a pretty cool effect. Really stoked on the progress we made today. For the rest of this week, all we have to do is try to implement some kind of snow particle effect that I have to figure out because I have no idea what I'm going to do for that. Have a little bug to fix here, and then some gameplay bouncing, and maybe my Easter egg if I get around to it. I do have a new idea for that. Overall, just really happy with the progress tonight. Probably going to take the rest of the night off and relax and play some video games, and I will likely see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday at around 6 a.m. It's early, I'm still kind of tired, so instead of talking a bunch, I'm just going to grab some coffee and get to work on creating the snow effect for my mountain environment. Checking in at around 6:45. As you can see, I've made some pretty good progress with the snow effect. I have a new particle system similar to my system that produces rain, and I've changed the particle shape and travel to mimic that of a snowflake. The secret here was to use the noise parameter on the system to introduce unique travel paths for each snowflake. Speaking of snowflakes, these little squares aren't going to work, so I'll finish this up by making some snowflake art to use. Alright, we're coming up on 7:15, and I think I've finished up everything related to the snow effect, so I'm excited to show that to you guys. Of course, we've started up Blink here and triggered the 1 in 5 chance for precipitation. That's one of our prereqs here. And once we head to unlocks, as you guys know, I've got slightly different artwork for each background when it is raining. So the forest is a little bit darker and a little more brown on the ground here. And the ocean looks way different. It's no longer this bright sunset, but instead it's way more mellowed out. I think this looks really cool with the rain. And of course, finally, our kind of purple and pink looking mountains here are this icy color, and we now have our snow effect. We also are not playing any sounds at all. No rain sound, no chirping crickets or anything, just kind of quiet and peaceful as you're flying around the mountains. I think this effect turned out really cool, and I think it's going to be a super nice surprise for anyone who makes it far enough to unlock this last background and triggers the precipitation. After making just a few more tiny tweaks to the particle system, I think I'm going to call it this morning. I had so much fun building this effect, and I'm just super happy with how it turned out. Anyway, time to get ready for work now, so I'll catch up with you guys soon. What's up? So I know what you guys are thinking. It's been 20 devlogs, and Ben has finally come up with a new camera angle for us. That's entirely true, but that's not all that's going on here. I actually got myself a little webcam for two main reasons. I thought it would be fun just to inject a little bit more personality into these devlogs, and I'm also considering doing some game dev live streams just to interact with you guys more and to answer questions if you guys want to know how I manage my time and how I develop projects like Blink. So I just thought it would be fun. However, that is not the plan for tonight. What I want to have tonight is a quick coding session just to make a couple of quick tweaks. The first of which is fixing a bug that I think I might have in the future with the way I'm showing my rewarded video ads. And I also want to tone down the difficulty a little bit for the physical device. It's pretty easy to play on PC right now, but once I get it onto my phone, it's actually pretty tricky. So I need to make some tweaks there. Let's hop into it. Alright, so first up, I've got this continue button on the in-game screen, and I'm always showing that no matter what, unless you've already pressed the continue button. I think in reality it's possible that an ad will not be ready to be served up, so I shouldn't show the continue button in the case that an ad is not ready. So that's the first change I'm going to make. Alright, so that was a pretty quick fix. You can check out these two lines here, that's where I had to make the code change. Now I've got my continue button here, and I'm setting it active with a Boolean value that I pass in. I was previously just passing in continue eligible, which is true in the case that you've not previously continued with a video advertisement for that particular round. However, I also don't want to show that continue button if a video advertisement is not ready. So all I did was create a new little variable here in an AND condition so that when continue eligible is true and an advertisement is ready for my reward ad, then we show the continue button. And that just makes sure that every time you click the continue button, you will have the option to view that advertisement. Now it's time to try and make a balance tweak to Blink to make it a little bit easier to play on a physical mobile device. Now there's a bunch of things I could change to make the game a little bit easier, but what I want to focus on tonight is how much light is added back to the scene when you get a circle fill, or taken away if that circle fill is really inaccurate. And that's all happening here in my dimmer alpha delta for accuracy function, which is horribly named, I know. So I'm going to play around with this and see if I can't find something that makes the game a little bit easier, but still obviously challenging. Happy with that little bit of progress tonight. We got a storm rolling up now, so I think I'm going to take a break and cook dinner, and I'll probably catch up with you guys on Saturday. It is Saturday morning. This will be the last day of this devlog, and I've got a pretty small workload for the day. I need to fix a defect I noticed while I was working on the snow implementation, and I want to finally create my Easter egg. So I'm going to work on that. Of course, there won't be too much progress that I can show you, but I will come back with a little update about my next devlog once I've wrapped everything up. Alright guys, so it is now about 1:30 and I have finished implementing my Easter egg and also finished up those defect fixes that I wanted to wrap up today. In terms of next week's devlog, I have a couple things in mind. The last big thing I have to do for Blink is implement the in-app purchase with actual in-app purchase data from my developer portals. In order to have access to those portals, I actually need to set up my Apple and Android developer accounts, which I still haven't done. And the reason for that is that I need to actually have a website for my business in order to sign up as a business, at least for Apple's developer account. So next week's development log is actually not going to be focused on any game development stuff. It's specifically going to be me creating a website for my business and for Blink to kind of represent the stuff that I want to create as Devlog. So that's the big update for next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this devlog and are looking forward to me trying to crunch through a website in a whole week next week. I think it should be entertaining. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you in next week's video.